with this background, each one of them who is claiming to be an indigene or a native of this place before an Eggons man, we were here by 11th century. And the history of each one of them indicates they came along this area that I'm telling you. And so, the Eggons history is better written by an Eggons man.
Exactly.
Not somebody to write our history for us. And all of them, they are calling a stranger on what basis?
In your own land.
In our own land? Is that because our forefathers tolerate them, accept them, to live and let live? That was the spirit that the Eggons had. And most of them who came, none of them is having, many of them came empty. They didn't come with their wives. It is our daughter who we give them.
So we are their in-laws.
We are their in-laws. And the present people who are talking to us are our own uncles. So I can see is either uncle or cousin to a woman. How can they begin to tell us what they feel as to tell us? Like I've said, was it a Gwandara man who refused to be Islamized and ran away from Kano and came to settle at Aruba here to tap and wine for our people in Aruba, in Andasam, Rafin Ganye, Wadgo, and down to Alacho? Or you're talking of the Gwandara of Shabu, of Kwandere, who found themselves in the forest to tap and wine for people of Aridi, Korokuje, Randa, and Rafikudi. Is it they are the one that are writing our history? Or who? The Laboman who came in 13th century? Or the Migile who came at 12? Well, we know where those things are coming from.
Okay.
And so we didn't bother whatever they choose to say about us. We see them as our brother. Whatever they tell us, we don't want to respond fire to fire. Let me tell you, there are survey that was conducted in 1980 by Shankland Cox.
Okay.
If you want to get this story, you go to Ministry of Land and Survey of Plateau State, Volume 2, report of the regional report of the regional survey, Volume 2, page 14.
Okay.
You can get the story I'm going to tell you now.
Okay, sir.
It reveals the population of each tribe that found himself in this zone. The population of 1963. 1963 population census of the then Plateau revealed that the Eggons people were having about 52,208.
52,000.
52,000
as of 1963.
as of 1963. Eggons were well established here and were having about 52,208. Alago people were having 51,812. And the Negri people were having about 15,320. While the Kanuri people were having about 8,266.
8,000.
8,266. The Gwandara people were having 7,555,000, while the Hausa people were having about 7,501, while the Fulanis are having about 756 population. The T people were having 27,449. The Igbo people were having about 4,338. The Yoruba man are having 124 population.
In Nasarawa State, in this region.
In this region. In Lafia Native Authority then, that was their population. And with this, the population I'm telling you is for Lafia local, the present Lafia local government. It has nothing to do with the Nasarawa Eggons at all.
Just Lafia.
Just Lafia. So if Eggons people have found themselves here in this number, and our number have outnumbered some of them twice or 3 times.
Even 4 or 5.
Or 4 or 5. These are the people who are making noise that the Eggons are strangers, that the Eggons came here around 50, around 70 or 60. Okay. Can we find a Lago who migrated from Kiana and settled in Wamba in that number? Can you find a Migilima who migrated here and settled in Kokona up to 100? If Eggons people are immigrants, what stopped their migration? The migration process did not start from today. It started from the Tower of Babel. If you go the history of human existence. So, well, I will agree with you because you have reduced your funding to 2010
down to
2010 to date. If you are talking on that, maybe I will agree with you that Eggons people are having a lesser voice in terms maybe
political activities.
Because of the there are so many factors that are responsible for it. This include poverty. Election is no longer won by number. Today, election is won in the court rather than the people's mandate. So, in such situation, the good people are only proud of their number. Economic activities or the control of economic of the state is not in our hand. And so the influence of the traditional ruler are also something to talk about. The colonial administration who came and found the Hausas, the Kanuri, and Fulani very comfortable to work with them because they were using them to capture our people for slavery for them. And so, no history anywhere that somebody would tell you that he had ever conquered an Eggons. The British people found it very difficult, very difficult to penetrate Eggons people. And to force them, it took them time to do that. And so, they found these people so simple, so chill, because they didn't have anybody of their own around this area. They can capture anybody and take it to the white man, get what they want to get.
Okay, thank you for all this elaborate analysis. It's quite disheartening to most of the youths of this generation that they don't seem to have voice politically in the Nasarawa South Senatorial Zone and possibly in other zones as well, let's even say in the entire state. Only but a few. However, we look for solution because it's like the case of the state, an absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now, how best approach can we handle these issues in order to heal the challenges, both in the Southern Senatorial Zone and in the entire state?
Well, for us as Eggons people, we did not see it as a challenge. What they are saying and what they intend to do and what they have done, and some of them have started to realize that they cannot do without any government. What we have had, it is a report of the gang up of the people of the Southern Senatorial Zone who wrote various memos at the judicial inquiry during the crisis of Asakio and Obi and Agarago, which was led by the traditional ruler or the chief of the state. And so, no election, call it Senate, Reps, local government chairman, or House of Assembly election in the Southern Senatorial Zone, nobody won election without the contribution of an Eggons. The Migilima cannot win local government election in Obi without the contribution of an Eggons. Without the support of an Eggons, up to this moment, I'm telling you, if it is election that will be counted, not the appointed, vis-a-vis Obi, Kiana, and Lafia. In fact, at a point, both the winner and loser are attributing it to Eggons people. For those who win, they will appreciate Eggons people for supporting them. For those who lose, they blame the Eggons people
for not supporting
them. That is the circumstance and that is the situation we find ourselves in this state. And I think as time goes on, everybody learned what he learned. the crisis of the Southern Senatorial Zone have taught people so many lessons. Where some of the traditional rulers spearheaded the issue of go and bring people from Mali, Senegal, Chad, Niger, Libya, to make sure they wipe Eggons people from this zone. Their efforts end up in futility. And the aftermath of that crisis is what is extended to everybody is affected in this zone at the moment. Because
maybe the entire state, because it's not only your zone that has crisis now.
Well, I agree so. Because the crisis affect the Western zone too at that time. All the state suffered that consequences, and it is a problem that we are facing in this state. Now everybody begin to say, we better cement our relationship.
Exactly.
Don't agree with these settlers who came to deceive us, and today they divided us. We are not going to our farm. Nobody is in authority to control the resources of the state, and so on and so forth, like that.
And it's like the government, the government of the day does not seem to give special attention on how to reunite the people. Rather, they are more interested in how they can continue to sustain power, because the crises are everywhere, and they keep denying that there are no crises.
Yeah, if they unite people, they will not survive it. And so what they are doing, it is what is keeping them in the power. And so I have told you about the indirect route. The white men use our people to capture our people for them, to collect taxes for them, and so on and so forth, like that. These people that the white man found them easy
to use them
in those days, and impose their leadership on us. Most of the traditional rulers who are not people who came here around 19th century are the one ruling people who are here
from 11th
century. What an irony. So, if we want to overcome some of these challenges, we, the natives, we, the indigenous people who find ourselves here, must agree that our root is the same, and the state was not agitated by some people. It is our people who agitate for the state. And so we have no reason to accept somebody to use whatever means, be it religion, be it whatever, language, be it whatever, if we agree to come together and fight a common front. Nobody will suppress us in the state. Some of these things, let me tell you, the former Lafayette division has spoke very much about the Eggons people, their zeal, their agile, and their economic activities that they were doing. Let me tell you, these people who are calling themselves the indigenous people, where are they when the work of a railway station arrived the Nasarawa division in 1922? By 1993, it have reached the Benue, the river Benue, by 1923 to 1927, between the bridge of Makodi to Kafanchan, the work has been done. And it is the Eggons people who supply labor. The Eggons people supply labor of over 1,000 people monthly.
1,000 people
Monthly.
To work on these railways.
Allow people who were asked to go to Ampa, they went there and ran away.
They couldn't
withstand it. So it is only Alago people are mentioned in that assessment report. So the Kanuris, the whatever they call themselves, let them bring us any record of their participation in the work of railway in the recent time. 1922, 1923, yes. 1927. Let them tell us their participation.
Okay, thank you so much. So, sir, let's move back to culture. Every tribe, they usually have what they worship. What would you say that is the efficacy of the Eggons traditional form or system of worship before the advent of Christianity and possibly Islam in the Eggons land?
The worship system of our people, it is not only efficacy, but it is also very effective. Not just effective, very, very effective. The way our people are worshipped before the advent of the white man, our people are like the Israelites. They believe in speaking to God. They do not believe in speaking to God directly. They speak to God through an image, whether or future. They speak through them. Our people have what they call Ajili.
No?
Yeah,
I used to hear that.
Yeah, Ajili no?
Okay.
Or Angbashim. Yeah. These are the future that our people are speaking, are tabling, are petitioning.
There are cases to go.
There are cases to go through them. So the system demands purity. It is unlike the Christianity of today. Somebody who calls himself a Christian will do whatever and believe that God will forgive him. The God of our people, before the advent, is a God that answers by fire. When you violate any rule, any instruction, the aftermath will follow immediately.
Wow.
So it is a God that protects the community. It is a God that defends their community. So you venture not touch anything and you go through with it. Let me give you a simple example that happened at recent.
Okay.
You know, the Babalakyo that everybody was talking about him is a traditional worshipper.
The original Eggons
is an original Eggons man, and he worshipped the original tradition of Eggons people. So when the crisis happened at Alakyo, the terms of reference says They want to know what happened to the police people. Who was involved in the killing. And all the memo that was written, nobody told the tribunal that he saw Baba Lakio
killing anybody.
Or anybody, a wrong person killing anybody. But they have alleged Baba Lakio himself wasn't at home. It is the spirit who fought those who would like to kill him. The man was in Ashangwa market when those things happened. Until it finished, he came home and discovered that something happened behind him. So if our people have problem, they usually have period where they will go to the Agile to beg for whatever. If there was no water, rain.
Yes, for farming.
They will gather themselves and go to the Agile and plead if anybody had done something wrong for what is happening, that the Agile should cleanse it and hear them and allow them to fall. I'm telling you, anybody who went to Agile before you arrive home, rain must beat you. They can't go to Agile and come back empty-handed.
I remember that vividly, sir. There was a time, I was very young, probably 7 years at that time. I'm about 50 years now.
Yeah.
There was a year it couldn't rain in the early 80s.
Yeah.
No, I was more than 7 years then. My mother, the entire community went praying. And the stream where my mother had to go and fetch water, it's like close to about 5 to 6 kilometers. And she now told me to pick a small pail, escort her to that stream. So on our way, my grandparents, they've all gone to pray in Ajli.
Yeah.
So on our way going, my mother told me that as we were going to fetch this water, we may come back with rain on our body. And it was like a joke. So when we were returning back home, I was shocked. We were beaten by rain, they were carrying water. And she refused us to pour that water away. That was just, since we went to fetch, let's bring it back home. And we were beaten by rain that day. So I tend to agree with what you're saying, sir.
So let me start another example. Let me use as a people as a case study.
Okay.
The community was fenced with what our people call it Ako.
Ako?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they were living on top of the hill, according to the version. The whole community have only 2 routes that you can enter it if you're a stranger. So for them, usually if it is in the night or in the daytime, if you go out and if you are coming back, anybody who is coming into that community, if you are coming, you see a leopard at the gate. A leopard, or the snake, you call it pattern. You see it at the gate. If it was a son of the soil
that is returning,
the thing will just excuse himself and go into a hola. What is called a hola?
A hola means a cave.
Exactly.
Okay.
It will went into a cave and you will pass. But if it is
an evil person,
or a stranger, you can't even try it.
Wow.
That is one of the examples that I want to start because we didn't have time. I would have told you so many things on and on.
So those powers, where are they today?
Well, we ignore it. We refuse to sustain them. And that is why we are suffering today. When the military people follow our boys to Alogani, their vehicles didn't come back. Their vehicle, they have a crisis. And what happened there may not be the work of a human being.
I actually went to Alakio and I saw those relics of those vehicles. They were not like something that anybody actually touched. The vehicles were somersaulted, the tires were up, and
yes, and that was the pattern of our worship. In those days, God
avenged for the people.
God is the one avenging for the people. If our people are clean according to our culture, it doesn't demand magu of what
people call it now.
What we call it today,
fraudulent activities.
Fraudulent activities that is happen. Those worship doesn't like that. And so we didn't have time. I would like to pause here.
Thank you so much. We have what we call the early educational system of our people because there is a way the educational system came into Eggons people. How was it at that time? Who were the early learners of that time? And how impactful were they up to this generation? Because some of us are beneficiaries of those early educational system in the later years. So maybe you can just briefly tell us something.
Yeah, maybe I'll divide it into two.
Okay, sir.
The early education before the coming of the white man.
Yes, please.
So our people were trained and learned in so many ways. I told you that I was trained as a farmer.
Yes.
So I couldn't have known how to farm if my father did not taught me how to do it. And at that time, our people did not survive in wearing the leaf like the other nation do. They were engaging in weaving.
Weaving.
Yeah, their clothes are being weaved by themselves. They weave mats, they weave facing cap, they weave so many things.
They weave atagwa, they weave a number of things.
A good number of things. Adudu, Ambalaga, manga, what you may call drum. There are those who specializes in carving those things. Exactly.
The bag.
Those things, there are people who are trained in doing that. Women are also good in molding using clay for pots and some other things like that. So those one are the education that our people
were involved
doing for their children. Some of them were blacksmiths, and some of these traditional costume that you see these days, it is part of the training they train people to do. That was what happened in those days. And later, maybe around 1920, where the white man brought
Western education.
The Western education, the early people were those who accept Christ earlier, because the mission who brought the who came to preach, they were interested in two things. They want people to understand what they are saying, so that they also form a belief and accept what they brought.
They brought, okay.
So for people who accepted Christ at that time, the white man trying to coach, to teach, and to educate them.
To know how to read?
To know how to read.
Okay, the books they brought.
Yes.
And then write.
To read and write.
Okay.
And that was what happened. And because of that, many of our people were trained as teachers. Many of them were trained as doctors of their time.
Medicine practice.
Exactly. Because the white man found building dispensary in various communities using the dispensary for the purpose of bringing people together. They built hospital to give patients free treatment, and before you get that, they had to preach in the morning before they started admit patients. So that helped very much. For good people who accept that, they were trained and they are also being posted to other places for them to go and carry on their mission work. And those things work very, very much. Anybody in the present Nasarawa state, particularly in Nasarawa South Central District, where our people are very large in number, any tribe who was educated, people of my age till death, people of my age, anybody who went into four corner class, it is an Eggons man who trained him.
From 70, 80s and above.
What are you talking about, the 70, 80?
No, I mean of age. 70 years, 80 years
yes.
of age. And above.
These
people were their teachers.
People were their teachers.
No matter who you are in the
States. No matter who you are. And these are the people that the Eggons people train. They are the one who
are humiliating the Eggons people.
Exactly. They are students.
Yeah, I remember even A. Sule said it some time ago in one of his interviews that he was trained and he had to go through mission schools and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And most of the missionaries at that time
were Eggons people.
So it means that whether his father or himself was actually
was trained by the Eggons people. Even Tanko Nokura here continue to respect George Abashi as his own teacher.
Wow.
George Abashi. So nobody. If I will set example with people like the Elias Adukwe.
Yes. His younger brother was a senator.
Exactly. These are people who stays in Eggons, who are trained by the Eggons people. They stay with the Eggons people. And the Jamie Gile, these are people who they either stay in Awenge, where they were trained, or they moved to Cargo.
To be trained in Cargo.
To be trained in Cargo. And that is what happened. So, the Eggons people have been envied. And because of their role, because of their education, today you have a good number of professors I'm not talking of the PhD, masters, and so on and so forth. We have a good number of professors. In this zone, I'm not talking of the Eggons entirely. So the system have really worked very effective and efficient.
So comparing the current or the Western system of education and the system of education that our great parent had given to us, if we have sustained the other one, how do you think? How would you place an Eggons man today?
Well, if we have sustained
Traditional
the traditional system of education,
yes,
which you may translate it to the technology.
Exactly.
So our people would have been very, very far away from where we are today. Depending on white collar's job may not be something that an Eggons will bother himself.
So would you encourage today's youth to think of going back?
Of course.
To things that would be
of course.
So maybe the last question, and then you will also say anything you have in mind to the general people. The last question is, what are the cultural procedures for an ideal Eggons traditional marriage?
Well,
just we
didn't have enough time to discuss that in details.
Okay, sir.
The process is very enormous, and so what you are seeing today, in those days, there is nobody is talking about the money. It was an exchange of goods for rendering service. What you call dowry today, in those days may not be money.
A dowry that will pay for a wife.
Yes.
Okay.
So what our people do was there are cooperative farming, which our people call it ekpa. So if you get a lady that want to marry and she agreed to marry you, so you and your age mate will go into the cooperative farming, and you will go and farm for your in-law for 2, 3 in a year.
For your will-be in-law.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, like I've told you, the process is in some cases. Some will start from the pregnancy. Someone will look at a particular family and he cherishes that family and say, look, if your wife give birth to
a
daughter, he will marry my son. And such process will continue. If your child grow up, you will tell him, this is a lady who will propose for you. Before the reach age of anything that I have just mentioned one for you, before the issue of a brakeman will come in, a brakeman usually bring the entire family together. Nobody who eats a brakeman will come and complain tomorrow. And our people use that term. They see something very important in a brakeman. And anybody who participates in the process, you have no reason tomorrow that lady will sick and they say you have your hand on it. If you didn't participate, one can say that okay, maybe he was aggrieved because of he wasn't participated. If he participated, you have no reason
So it's like eating and pouring out your blessings to the family of the couple.
Exactly.
Now, I also learned that our people marry on loan, on loan in the sense that if you don't have money, you can negotiate with the family. They will even give you a wife. Then later on in future, when you have money, you can prepare. Even after having your children, you can now go and do your traditional marriage rites. And how true is it?
It is a proverb that Abekambo Ikashe.
Oh, okay, this is the root.
Yeah.
Abekambo Ikashe. He that does not have money.
If the girl like you and you're interested in her, the process is there. If you follow it, the lady can follow you.
Wow.
That is the process. Until such a time that both you and her farm and get what you can be able to go and pay for her dairy, you can do that. And that practice is up to today is working. So
what last word do you have for your viewers and for the unity of the states?
Well, gentlemen and ladies, I will really want to thank you for giving me that much opportunity. Our fellow Nasarawa citizens, the state did not belong to anybody, and whosoever found himself here should believe that the state belonged to you, irrespective of whether you come yesterday or you come today. Let's try and see how we can develop the state together. Let's agree to work together for the peace to sustain. Where there is no peace, very difficult that that community will be developed. Nasarawa state, we are left behind compared to other states that were being created at the same time with us. And so I want to plead and talk to our natives and our indigenous of the state to please and please agree to work together, agree to partner together, agree to respect each other. The land is wide enough to accommodate everybody.
That's true.
The land of Nasarawa state is wide enough that can accommodate everybody. And the state was blessed with arable farming, agricultural product in this zone is very perfectly for everybody. And so I want to also plead with our brother, the Fulani, whom they usually combine themselves Hausa Fulani. All of us are eating food. Why do you allow animal to consume or to destroy crops? We know some of the crises that is happening are usually reduced to the Fulani herdsmen. I plead with the Fulani leaders for them to talk to their people so that whatever crisis that happen, Fulani will be able to say, no,
This one is not us.
Our hand is not there. Anybody who wants to create conflict, let him do it on his own. Don't involve Fulani into it. People are using Fulani for the purpose of kidnapping, for bandit, or whatever. And we hope that people would like to clean and wash themselves from all the bad deed that is happening in the state. We pray that one day some of these things will be a things of the past. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us your attention.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.